first 40 years of my life, I did what everybody expected me to do. You know? But at this phase in my life, this chapter, you know, the kids are grown and that part of that career is, you know, done. I get to go, what does Diana want to do? And it gives me a place to find my center again. That sounds so cliche, but it's true. We don't have to go on these grand, get on an airplane and travel to another continent kind of thing to have a great experience. You can do it in your backyard. Lucy, my tiny home, tiny, tiny home on wheels. So let's see, Columbia, South Carolina. I'm getting my master's degree, so that's when I met Nick. And sometimes you just know when somebody's a right fit. And we decided we wanted to get married probably 6 weeks into the relationship. We decided whoever got a job first, that's where we would go. And he's an engineer for the government, working at Fort Jackson at the time. He got the job before I did, so I'd never been west of the Mississippi, so why not? The package that they send you when you move to a new town made it sound like universities were close. I'd wanted to work in a student affairs office, and when we made the commitment to come out here, I have to laugh over it now. We realized that 29 Palms was 2.5 hours away from any university, and got a job as a substitute teacher just for something to do, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I went back to school to get my California teaching credential. Had just finished that up. We bought a house here in Yucca Valley, and we flew always together. We'd go to Catalina Island and, you know, have breakfast, and Anza Borrego, Big Bear, all kinds of places, meet other friends. And that particular day, I just was in a rotten mood and decided not to go. So a couple hours later, you know, his plane had crashed just after takeoff in Yucca Valley. I feel like it wasn't my time. I could have decided to go, and that would have changed the whole story. But I didn't go that day, and it changed the whole story. You just never know what's going to happen if you just stay on the predictable path. Does that make sense? So when you see those little offshoots here and there, be brave and try them out. So, you know, I was brave numerous times, brave in trusting Nick and saying that I would marry him and head west where we knew absolutely no one, and stayed, because it didn't take long before you got to know so many people that became family. Look at that! Let's see, the first switch is when Nick died. It made me realize that life is not infinite, it's finite. And you can't live in fear, because when you do, you miss out on some really wonderful things. And it taught me to listen to myself and not be so full of myself. Because I think that day I was pretty full of myself. I don't know what the issue was. You know, I could look even deeper, and the universe was saying, it's not your time, it is. So I'm grateful for that part of my life. Oh, I feel the emotions coming back up. despite the the dips and the valleys and the hard things that we have to learn. I'm grateful that I had those opportunities to make me stronger and more compassionate when other people have things. I know what that feels like. Without those dips, losing my soulmate, getting divorced, the kids were really young. Those are hard things to work through, but I worked through it, and I didn't work through it alone. You know, I had such support from friends and acquaintances and colleagues, and it makes me appreciate those simple things that I have. You know, I don't have a fancy house, but I love my house. You know, it's got character. I live in a kind of a funky valley here. It was way different when I moved here, and it's more about experiences and relationships, I think, than bling, if that makes sense. I have two projects. One is based on gratitude, and so what's going to happen is there are going to be 120 5x5 panels, and they're going to be sentiments and remembrances of things that I'm grateful for, poetry, and then I'm giving them away or leaving them in places to be found, and hopefully people will link back to the website and read the story. The other project is Joshua trees. I'm fascinated with them. They're not trees, they're giant succulents, but there's something about the way that they grow. We'll see. I have some sheets of Joshua tree wood. It was milled in the 1940s, I think, back before no one really worried about things. So I have a very limited supply, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do with them because they're so precious and I don't want to mess it up. So they're passion projects, projects of the heart. It's a way to express those things that are important to you. So that's my art.